What's up, YouTube? This lawsuit that we are revisiting, I already covered this in a different video. I'm going to read this slightly different angle on the similar topic regarding to this lawsuit against Hasbro in regards to their handling of Magic the Gathering from some investors. Here we go. The lawsuit claims Hasbro misled investors regarding the sales of controversial Magic the Gathering anniversary set. It says Wizard employees viewed photographs of Magic the Anniversary sets dropped off at a Texas landfill. All right. A new lawsuit filed by shareholders of Hasbro against the company and its directors allege that the company leadership has mismanaged Magic the Gathering by overprinting sets of cards, thereby devaluing existing ones. It also quite notably claims that Hasbro leadership concealed the true reason that its widely criticized, incredibly expensive Magic the Gathering 30th anniversary set was pulled from sale within an hour of initial release. So, continuing, the lawsuit filed in Rhode Island earlier this week is filed by shareholders Joseph Crokinall and Alton McGlone against Hasbro CEO Christian Cox, a number of fellow company directors, and Hasbro itself. The lawsuit alleges breaches of fiduciary duty, unjust enrichment, waste of corporate assets, gross mismanagement, abuse of control, and violations of the Exchange Act. No, I do not know the Exchange Act, but it sounds serious to me. Specifically, the shareholder plaintiffs claims that under Cox's leadership, Hasbro is printing far too many Magic the Gathering sets, thereby reducing the value of existing sets. The complaint probably sounds familiar to avid Magic players, as Wizard of the Coast has been printing significantly more sets per year than it used to. You remember the good old days? Back when you just had the onslaught block in a year? Or whatever? This handy chart made in 2020 by Jacob Williamson. Okay. Jacob Wilson, anyway. It's only gotten worse in the years since. Oh, let's go back to exactly what I was talking about. Here it is in 03, 02, 03. Looks like they did have a lot. Mirrodin was in 2003. So there we go. They get that marked as 5 sets. Very interesting. All right, carry on. As noted in the lawsuit, Wizards of the Coast released more sets than ever before in 2020, which served to double the revenue of Wizards segment of Hasbro between 2018 and 2021. And in 2022, Hasbro released over 5 times as many Magic sets as it had in 2016. It's worth noting that both the chart above and the lawsuit itself are somewhat generous in what they consider to be a Magic set. Okay. For example, the lawsuit also claims Wizard released 39 separate Magic sets in 2022. That strikes me as a little high, is what the author says, because of these are just secret layers. Okay. Regardless of how you count them, it is true that the card release volume has gone up. Okay. The Universes Beyond collaborations in 2026. A lot of those. Carry on. The lawsuit itself is 76 pages long, and there are major accusations that stand out. One is that Hasbro management used something called the parachute strategy. Now, I've heard about this from other YouTubers. Now, allegedly, the leadership plotted to parachute in new Magic sets whenever there's a shortfall elsewhere in Hasbro. Okay. That's freaking wild thing to be doing, to just try to use Magic the Gathering as a money machine when you needed more money for Hasbro. These parachute sets initially consisted of master sets, largely reprints with low production costs. It grew, and you got the Secret Lair collaborations, Commander Legends Baldur's Gate set. Okay. It says, as per lawsuit, as such, the explosive growth in Magic business noted just prior to and during the relevant period was the result of this parachute strategy, when in 2022, the parachute Magic sets accounted for 46 of all Magic releases. All right, well, here's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles official video. I'm going to have to watch that later. See how bad that one's going to be. We'll do that one next. The second and perhaps spicier accusation is that allegations that Hasbro management essentially faked being out of stock of the controversial, extremely expensive 30th anniversary set. our favorite one. In order to encourage demand, if you're not familiar, this was they're calling it a $1,000 box that contained 4 booster packs of non-tournament legal reprints of original Magic cards, some of which Wizards had sworn it would never reprint. This box garnered massive criticism. Of course, its price, you weren't even using the cards, and they also broke the old reserved list. All right, well, let's go look at this 30th Magic anniversary set on TCG Player and see if it's worth anything. Nope. You bought it. It's still worth 1,000. I see here. Let's look in the last year. Somebody had it up to 1,200. So maybe if you bought $1,000 item, you can make 20%. Less than 20%. So here we go. We got people listening to them at 1,500, but still the lowest one's at 1,000, which is essentially what you bought it for. One item, couple items sold at 1,000. Other than that, in the last year, $1,200. It's not worth it. It wasn't worth anything. Nobody wants this. Move on. According from testimony from several members of leadership shared in the complaint, following the negative reaction from players at this announcement, management made a plan to pause sales of the set if it became apparent that the sales were weaker than anticipated. The company said that the sale has concluded and the product is currently unavailable for purchase. In a post on Twitter, implying they had sold out, effectively making it look like the product was far more popular than it actually had been. In the lawsuit, plaintiffs accused the company of claiming the product was out of stock. Okay. It wasn't out of stock because they're saying they found it in a landfill. Okay. What happened to the unsold cards if they were paused then? The lawsuit goes on. Former employee number 6, whoever that is, likewise stated that the company paused its sales of Magic the Gathering anniversary set less than an hour after its release, only selling a portion of its available inventory. The former employee stated that shortly after the set's release, he and other Wizards employees viewed photographs of Magic the Gathering anniversary sets dropped off at a Texas landfill alongside other older Magic products. Wild. Couldn't give them to the kids, huh? Maybe the kids want some proxies from the 30th Magic anniversary set so they can play vintage with the friends. What happened to the game piece argument? Cynthia Williams, is that who was in? No, it was Christian Cox, or was it Cynthia Williams? Or are they both at fault for this? Here we go. Here it is. Yeah, so you can get your dual lands and use them in your proxy deck or just collect them, but then they're not really worth anything. Now, I did look at some of the individual cards. You can kind of look at those over here, shop single cards. Now, if you go from high to low, you can see Demonic Tutor out of stock, but they're saying it was $1,600 out of stock, though. I don't see any. So that was a $1,600 card at some point for a Demonic Tutor. Like, how bad you need a Demonic Tutor? I don't know. A Time Twister, they're saying that's still a $700 card. Mox Sapphire, a fake Mox Sapphire is still over $500. Time Walk, I don't know why the Sapphire is more expensive than Ruby. And I can't believe this. It's a $400 Dark Ritual that you can't even play. It's like you should be able to play it because it's just a Dark Ritual. It's not on the restricted list. Whatever. Oh, because it's black border. You're not allowed to print black borders. Thanks, Hasbro. Or whatever, you know. Not in that art anyway, you know what I mean? They had the Mercadian Mask Quest, Dark Ritual on a black border, and etc., but alright. Now we know. The plaintiffs are asking the judge to rule that they, as shareholders, are adequate representatives of Hasbro and therefore can sue on behalf of the company itself. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Hasbro, for the comment, received the following statement. These claims have no merit. Of course they would say that. Our strategic plan for Magic was implemented and the results underscore the strength of that strategy. They're saying we made all this money and it's legit. We are not devaluing the entire brand, trying to cash out in the short term and just blow the long term out of the water and just forget about it. That's not what they were doing. They're saying they're doing a good thing. Thanks, Hasbro. And this is far from the first time shareholders have expressed displeasure with Hasbro's blah, blah, blah. a deep dive done by Bank of America in 2022. So the exact issue of overprinting, which prompted analysis to claim Hasbro was hurting its long-term value with so many releases. This year's first set, Lorwyn Eclipse, we loved it. Loved it more than we've probably been loving other Magic things anyway. I bought a collector's booster. Don't get me wrong. Is doing all right, at least, having seemingly sold out. Yeah, it was decent. Amid excitement, and return to a beloved plane. Never forget Lorwyn. And super rare cards. And they're saying that Bloom Tender was going for $600. It's down probably $400 now. But moral of the story is that Magic the Gathering, they printed all of these fake Black Lotuses, all these fake Black Lotuses box, dumped any that they felt like they shouldn't sell into a landfill with some other stuff, allegedly. Do they have pictures? I doubt it. Somebody threw it. Some update. Someone threw away 6 pallets of Magic the Gathering at my local city landfill. Bad news. Yikes. Oh, okay. It's from a Reddit thread. Thank you. We can see over here, the cards are, some of them are worth a lot. But overall, the box is only worth $1,000. How much is the weekend on these cards? Have some cheap cards. Yeah, look, you can get a Circle Protection Blue for 37 cents. Be non-tournament legal just to troll your friends. You know they didn't print anything good in here. There's Hell from Beyond, but I got a Hell for 45 cents. Like, how bad do you want one of these? I might just buy it and have Mark Poole sign it for me, right? Why not? Why not? LP $3. 45 cents for damage. How do you get one of these damaged? Like you threw it like a trying to cut Jello with it. All right. Somebody send me a 30th anniversary Hell from Beyond so I can go to Gen Con and have Mark Poole sign it for me. I'll talk to you about it tomorrow.